Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon dear students. So here we are going to start with the another lecture, that is 1.4 Pillars of Democracy. So in this lecture we will be dealing with icebreakers and even the introduction part of the chapter, a bit of explanation part. Now here are some of the icebreakers activities as you can see here. So now let's get started with the activities first. So the very first question that we have to do is discuss with your partner and choose a correct alternative. Government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. This famous statement is made by. You must have heard this statement, right? Many of the times, as we talk about the democratic nation or the democracy, when we talk about, so this statement frequently comes, right? That is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So this basically and Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, or Dalai Lama. These are the four options from which you have to choose one. And here is the correct answer given in front of you, that is Abraham Lincoln. Now, after that, let's start with another activity. A system where the government is selected and ruled by people is called. There are four options: bureaucracy, aristocracy, democracy, or autocracy. So, which government is there in our country? That is democracy, right? We follow democracy in our country, which is elected by the people and even run by the people. So that's what the answer will be: democracy. The another question: a democratic country is governed by its dash. So military, police, politicians, or constitution. Which is the correct answer? That's what we have to state here. So the correct answer, obviously, constitution. We follow the constitution, right? Even if it's about our rights, our duties, or whatever it is, we go as per the constitution. We follow everything as per the constitution, which was written by B.R. Ambedkar. Now, then, the trinity of democracy comprises the principles complete the web to show the trinity of democracy. So basically, trinity of democracy, in that we have to talk about the three major parts or the three major aspects which is very important for the democracy, or which is the main or the major requirement. Three major requirements we have to talk about if we want to follow the democracy in our country. So these are the three things which is required, that is liberty, equality, and fraternity. Obviously, if there will be no liberty, we won't be able to call our country as a democratic country, right? Or a democratic. Very necessary if we talk about the democratic country. And even the fraternity means what? Basically a sense of common brotherhood, a place where people feel for each other, like they have compassion for each other, and that's what it's all about. So these are the trinity of the democracy. Then later comes basically we have to match the columns, match the pairs, and in A column there are four options, and four points are given in just after that we have to select the correct ones. So constitution, liberty, equality, and fraternity, these are the four options, and we have to select the correct one. So here are the correct answers. Constitution, basically. So what's the meaning of constitution? It is an aggregate of fundamental principles or established precedents that constitute the legal basis of a polity, organization, or other types of entity, and commonly determine how the entity is to be governed. Okay, now the point 2, that is liberty. What is liberty? It is the freedom to go where you want to do do what you want, etc. So basically, for first question, the answer will be, or the pair will be D. For the second, the pair will be A. And now the third, equality. So for that, it is the state of being equal, especially in status, rights, or opportunities. So the correct option will be B. Now fourth, fraternity. It is a sense of common brotherhood. That is option C. Now, pillars form support for concrete buildings. Metaphorically speaking, a strong nation too depends on strong pillars. Discuss with your partner and explain the pillars of democratic nation. Make a list of obstacles that are a threat to the progress of a nation. Now, basically, what it's talking about over here building should be strong enough. Obviously, right? Like, usually these days we hear, like, the building collapsed or something like that. So if the base will be strong enough, so there will be no chances of that building to collapse, right? Or the pillars are strongly built, so there will be less chances of any of the building to collapse or to fall down. Correct. So means what? The pillars of the building should be strong enough to hold it, right? So in that sense only, what it is talking about, pillars form support for concrete buildings. Metaphorically speaking, a strong nation too depends on strong pillars. So discuss with your partner and explain the pillars of a democratic nation. So in that sense only, what it is talking about, that if you talk about democratic nation, so what should be the pillars for the democratic nation? And apart from that, we also have to talk about the obstacles, means the threats to the progress of a nation. So we have to talk about what are the pillars, and at the same time what are the threats to the any of the progress, basically the progress of a nation. And then here are the answer. The legislature, the executive, the judiciary and the press are the four important pillars of a democratic nation. So the very first one, legislature. The legislature is an indispensable part of a democratic government that formulates the laws for a country through representatives elected by voting. Legislature includes the parliament and the state assemblies. When people's representatives strongly deliberate the laws in a legislature, democracy emerges victorious. So that's what all about legislature. Now what is executive? The president, the prime minister, his cabinet and bureaucrats from the executive. The second pillar of democracy. These are of the nation and laws for a welfare of the people. A strong executive force is necessary for the smooth functioning of a democracy. Now the third point, that is judiciary. The judiciary looks after the politicians of law and constitution and gives impartial judgment in matters of state and individuals. The pillars of the judiciary plays a vital role in maintaining law and order and imparting justice in a democracy. And the fourth one, that is press. The press communicates issues of public importance to the masses. Press is yet another important pillar of democracy that keeps a check on the government and ultimately serves the public interest. Listed below are some of the obstacles that are threat to the progress of a nation. So here are some of the threats which can become obstacles for the progress of any of the nation. That is unemployment, illiteracy, population growth, inflation, rising inequality, corruption, poverty, red tapeism, terrorism, black money, interest, disharmony. Interstate disharmony. These are some of the obstacles basically for any of the nation or in the way of its progress basically. Now moving towards the introduction part. So this chapter is written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. He was born on 14th April 1891 in the town and military cantonment of Mau, now Dr. Ambedkar Nagar. So basically he was born in the town of military cantonment which was in Mau. Now that place have been named as Dr. Ambedkar Nagar, which comes in Madhya Pradesh. He got his degree from Elphinstone College, Mumbai. He subsequently obtained the doctorate from Columbia University, USA and London School of Economics. So basically the Constitution of India in the capacity of chairman of the drafting committee. So what he is talking over here, that basically forming the constitution, that he have been assigned with a challenging task, that was framing the constitution. That's what the big task he have been assigned with, as we all know about the constitution, right? So framing of that constitution, the basically the drafting committee, if we talk about, so he was the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution, and he was awarded the Bharat Ratna posthumously for his dedication and commitment for the welfare of our country. And he also have been awarded with the Bharat Ratna award posthumously basically. For what? For the dedication and the commitment that he has shown, or for the work that he has done for the welfare of our country. Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar has laid emphasis on the values of liberty, equality, and fraternity. So basically, in through his writings, speeches, and works, he has shown that what is the importance of liberty in any of the country, and even in our country, what is the importance of liberty, equality, and even the fraternity. And according to him, these principles will make India a strong nation. And what he thought, that's what he expressed over here. And even whatever he has written, in that he mentioned that the principles for any of the nation, what are the principles basically which is required to make any of the country strong. He is of the view that hero worship is a sure road to degradation and eventual dictatorship and collapse of a nation. So what he is saying, if you hero worship someone, if you are blindly following anyone and doing whatever he or she says, just if he says even to the wrong things, if he says it's right and you follow that and you say yes, it's right because he says that, so that, what does it mean? That means you are hero worshipping that person, and whatever he is saying, you're doing that. So that means you're hero worshipping that person, and if you do that, that means you are on the way of degradation, or you are on the road of degradation, and that will the sure road towards the degradation and dictatorship. Basically, dictatorship means what? Where there is an absolute rule of a one person, as we know about the Adolf Hitler, right? So he have been called as a dictator, correct? So that's what. So if you do that, that will be a collapse of a